Oh,
They don't.
like Shirley Temple. Suspense is killing me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Seven, six.
Good afternoon and welcome to the regular board meeting of the Board of Directors of the Indian Wells Valley Water District for Monday, September 8th at 2025. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 4:30 p.m. And we're going to have Vice President Griffin lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chuck. Roll call, please.
President St. Amand,
Present.
President Griffin,
Present.
Director Boyd,
Here.
Director Kaczynski,
Here.
Director Rotora.
Here, posting of agenda declaration.
The agenda for today's regular board meeting and public hearing was posted on Thursday, September 4th, 2025.
All right, thank you. Conflict of interest declaration.
President St. Amand,
None.
Vice President Griffin,
None.
Director Boyd, Director Kaczynski,
None.
Director Rotora.
None. Public questions and comments on the closed session. We have no public here in the meeting room and there are none online. So we'll move to item 7, closed session. We're going to close the open session at 4:31 p.m. and open the closed session at 4:32 p.m. Thank you.
No!
The heck was that?
We'll step on someone's toe.
Not here. All right, thank you, everyone. We're going to close the closed session at 5:59 PM, and we're going to reopen the open session at 6:03 PM. Jim?
The board met with staff and legal counsel in closed session. No action was taken that requires disclosure.
All right, thank you. Public questions and comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the board on any matter not on the agenda and over which the board has jurisdiction. However, no action may be taken by the board of directors on any item not appearing on the agenda. Non-agenda speakers are asked to limit their presentations to 5 minutes. Public and questions and comments on items listed on the agenda will be accepted at any time the item is brought forth for consideration by the board. So if you've got a comment on something that's actually on the agenda, please hold off till that time. When you're recognized by me, please state your name for the record. Do I have anyone here who would like to make public comment?
Hugh Decker, President of the Eastern Kern County Resource Conservation District. I would like to invite all of you in the public to attend we're having a talk on proper planting and gardening with native plants on September 20th at the Matarango Museum. It will be followed by posting of our plant sale list of plants and their prices and how to acquire them. Our plant sale will be the last Saturday of October. Plants we will be selling will be, I believe all of them will be native plants to California and mostly to the high desert region of the Mojave Desert. And I urge you in the public listening and your friends and relatives to come. Thank you.
What time on the 20th?
Quite frankly, I'm not sure. I
Okay.
think it's probably going to be about 1 o'clock though.
Check, thank you.
Judy, also, do you order the plants on the 20th and delivered on the 30th?
Yep.
Or
The plant list will soon be on our RCD website. You can pull it off of that. And yes, you order them and then you will pick them up on the I don't remember the date of the last Saturday in
Of
October,
Okay,
but they will be picked up at the fairgrounds.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for asking.
Thank you very much. Anyone else here with us who would like to make a comment?
Good evening, gentlemen. Mike Neal. I missed the committee meeting where there was some brief discussion that I saw online about my request to look at encouraging xeriscaping in front yards around town to conserve water. Pretty much as I recall, the total of that discussion was Mr. Griffin saying that he thought there was at least an equal or a better idea to get people on central air conditioning as opposed to swamp coolers. So let me give you a few facts about switching over to central air conditioning versus using swamp coolers. My house is about 2,000 square feet, actually has 2 swamp coolers on it. It's been reported here that a swamp cooler uses about 160 gallons a day. So I use 320 gallons a day. I figure, the cooling season's about 5 months. So multiply that into the equation and multiplied 30 years of use into the equation. Came up with about 4 acre feet of water over 30 years. Now, the cost of installing an air conditioning central air unit probably is about $25,000 or $30,000. It might even be more than that, but it's probably at least that much. So if you divide the two, I came up with $5,000 per acre foot of water saved in cost to the homeowner or whoever's paying for it. And I've reported this number several years back in the past, but it's been a while. So I would say that sounds like a really super expensive way to try to save some water. And I can't see how not taking efforts, especially when you probably can grab onto some state monies because they've been big on this for a long time, and actually go ahead and pursue at least getting the numbers. I've been asking for let's just get the numbers, get the estimate, do the estimate, and put the numbers on the table and say, here it is. If we got rid of all the front yard grass and Ridgecrest, then here's how much water we would save from the decrease in transevaporation. So I'm going to continue pitching for this. I'm going to continue bugging you, being a thorn in your backside about it until you finally go ahead and do something and put those numbers out there, because I just don't see how this has been, brought up several times in the past. Brady Beaton brought it up years and years ago. But, when you put the numbers together, it's hard to see how switching over to AC and, unless of course electricity becomes free, then it probably would work. But otherwise, I just don't see how that's going to work very well to actually be anywhere near cost effective and saving water and switching over to simple AC.
Can I respond to Mr. Neal?
Go
real
ahead.
quick? Mr. Neal, I want you to understand where I was coming from on my statement. The district has done a Cash for Grass program, and the Cash for Grass money did not get used. We had a leftover balance because people just weren't interested anymore. A lot of people did take advantage of it, but we don't have enforcement action to say, you got to take your grass out of your front yard. So
Right.
to say that we're going to eliminate every lawn in town, we couldn't do that. So my rationale was that if we could come up with a program that we could get grants to put mini splits in, to reduce people's water usage through swamp coolers, the houses that are on solar, it would definitely be beneficial for them because it is free electricity if they're on the first program with Edison.
If their size big enough.
Yes. So that was where I was coming from on that. Not saying that you have a bad idea in any way,
I
but
didn't say that.
but I don't think we're ever going to get every person in town to say, I'm going to take my lawn out. There's people that are going to say, I want my grass, and they have the right to keep that grass if they pay their water bill. So
Sure.
that's where we're at. And that was my
Well,
rationale.
It's hard to get where you're going if you don't have the map to show you how to get there. And in this case, we don't know where we would get. We don't know if it'd be like, no big deal. If we got rid of all the front yard grass, wouldn't be much, or wow, it'd be a whole lot, so we don't know that until we take take the hard look at it, and we've got the tools to do that. So, obviously it takes some time, some staff person's time to sit down and look at all the, aerial maps and so forth and so on, but, it should be quite doable.
Thank you.
Mr. Kroll, you had a comment?
I did. If you would make sure you stick around in our discussion until we talk about our discussions with the developer in the La Mirage area, you might hear some interesting things that relate to your comments, but we'll save that for that part of the meeting.
Okay, is there anyone else who's present who would like to make a comment? Do we have anyone online who would like to make a comment? All right, one moment. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, this is Renee Westerlusk. I have a question regarding the other two major transmission lines, I guess the Springer Avenue one and the Bowman. Have those major transmission lines been inspected for cracks similar to what happened out on the Northwest transmission line? And are they being inspected regularly?
I'll go ahead and try to cover that.
Okay,
There's no easy way to inspect a line like that unless you dig the whole thing up. We've been trying to find technology, and it does exist, that can go down inside a pipe and measure the thickness of the steel. It's very expensive. It would probably, I think we got a quote for doing the Bowman line, and it was around $500,000. We would like to do that. Luckily, it's a newer pipe, and the Springer pipe is even newer than that. And it's thicker steel. So it is on our to-do list that we would like to do. And so we are looking into that technology for that.
all right, thank you, Renee. All right, is there anyone else online that would like to have a comment? All right. Let's go ahead and move to item 9, public hearing, public health goals report. Yeah, right. Who wants to tackle that, Russ? Tackle that.
I guess, does he have to officially open the hearing or? Yeah.
Open the public.
This is actually a public hearing, so this little separate proceeding inside of the board meeting, so I need to open and close the public meeting.
All right, I'll open the public hearing on public health goals report at 6:13 PM.
Okay. If you remember last month, I did a presentation on the public health goals report. It was listed on our website. And as far as I know, we have not received any public comments. I haven't seen any. I don't know if the board has any comments about it, but we didn't get anything from the public.
Any board members or committee members?
Yeah, the report looked complete to me. I'm happy with it.
Stan?
agree.
Nope, all right. Anybody, a member of the public have a comment on the goals?
But again, Mike Neal, so from an engineer's approach, a lot of times when you look at things, you want to look at not just bald numbers, but trends. So did you see anything in any of the elements that were looked at in the composition of the water, anything that changed markedly from last year, especially
It's
stuff
every-
that you don't really want in the water?
It's every 3 years, and no, there was nothing different that showed up that we hadn't seen before.
Renee, could you,
Hello.
you might mention the reduction in observed arsenic?
Oh, yeah, well, there was one well that we actually were able to take off of arsenic treatment, which was well 11, because the last 2 years,
That's strange.
the level was way below the maximum contaminant level. So we are still testing it every 3 months and have to keep an eye on it, but it is no longer required to go through the arsenic removal facility. So that's one good thing.
Any guess as to why that would change? You would think it would always be the same or maybe get worse.
You would think so. I mean, it is naturally occurring, so, we'll just keep an eye on it.
I mean, it's going to be higher.
There was some reduction in pumping in that area that may have contributed, as I understand.
That is That is possible.
Okay.
We see the opposite in one of our other wells. Like the less that we pump it, the higher it goes, and the more we pump it, the lower it goes. So
Okay.
you just never know.
I'm going to would take the opportunity to comment. You know, we've had all this years-long debate about well levels going down and so forth. And I got from Renee sometime last year, the water levels in the 10 or 11 wells that the district has. And when I took them and averaged the changes all out, it came to basically no change. So, no water level, some went down, some went up. And you look at it and go, well, if you have an average of no change in water level, then what's all this, our wells are going down, we're going to run out of water, of course, that's one data point. There's lots of other wells in the valley, but these are big wells and they go down deep. So, they're pretty representative of the water as a whole, and as far as I understand.
All right, thank you for that. A little off topic, but we can allow that. Oddly enough, the well that supports the 4 houses in the compound where I live, we've replaced the pump in 2016, and then we just had a well test this year because one of the houses sold and the new owner wanted a well test, and the water's come up 13 feet. It was a result so interesting that I requested the well testers perform that depth test 3 times so that I could make sure they're getting a consistent reading. Yes, sir.
Mr. Neal, I'd like to add that well 11 was always a borderline well for arsenic as well. The state required like 10 parts per billion, and we were just a hair over it all the time. So when we weren't using it as much, we would fall in that limit of being below the threshold to the state.
And Jason also, or John, sorry.
Oh, put $1 in the jar.
Also, the wells that are coming up are in that area of well 11 too, as Director St. Amand, President
Yes.
St. Amand said.
Yes.
So we are seeing an increase in the water levels in that area, so.
Was there anyone else here in the audience who would like to address the goals, public health goals report?
No, but I have another question about the arsenic. The arsenic wells that you got to take offline are, yes, but which ones?
That was well 11, Judy. That was one, if you go on Mayhem Street.
Well, 11.
Okay,
It's one of the district's older wells.
yes.
All right, is there anyone who is with us online who would like to, oh, we have someone? All right, very good. All right, go ahead, caller.
Can you hold it down? I'm asking a question. Hi.
We'll try.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to my husband. He's watching a Chicago Bears game against the Vikings. My question has to do with, and maybe I missed it in the report, and I apologize if I didn't read it thoroughly enough, but how often do most of these things have to be tested, like especially the radioactive elements? How often is our water tested for that? And then I wanted to bring attention to the one typographical error on page 5. It's at the very bottom, the last paragraph, the BETS. I think it should be BATS.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Radioactive substances, it varies by well depending on what the original level was. So it could be, I don't think we have any that are on any yearly testing or even 3 years. Most of them are about 6 to 9 years because they're all low levels. But each well is different.
So you're saying it can go as long as 6 years without testing?
9, I believe, is the longest. So in the last 3 years, we only had 1 well that was tested for any radiological elements.
What actually prompts a reason to test the wells?
State law.
Oh, they'll require it?
Yes, it's required by the state. Mhm.
But I mean, that they require it so often, not more than 6 to 9 years?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So just to be clear on these things, there's contaminants that we test for on an annual basis. The public health,
Not many.
not many, but
No.
there are some. And the health goals report has items that are every 3
Every
years.
3 years,
And
yes.
then the radiological materials are 6 to 9 years, depending
So-
on the
Yeah.
legislation.
So basically, anything that you tested for in the last 3 years is subject to that report.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'd like to clarify a little bit also. We also do routine sampling. Our wells, we have very high quality water. And our wells are tested regularly for
For
micro.
microbiological
Yes.
contaminants.
So we go through very strenuous testing and we make sure that the water is always potable. We would not even be treating our water if it wasn't, the state requires a little bit of chlorine to be put into the water. So it's only a requirement of the state, so.
Right, the chlorine is a state and a federal law requirement based on, well, doesn't matter. Go ahead. Anything else?
Based on the state we live in.
Yeah, well, for the feds, it's national. Are there any other comments? What else would you like from us for the public health? We've accepted comments and
Close the public hearing
we
first,
can go ahead and close that at 6:21 PM, please.
and then a motion to accept as presented.
I'll make the motion to accept as presented.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any additional discussion? Any additional comments from the public? Then we'll go ahead and call for the vote.
President St. Amand.
Yes.
Vice President Griffin.
Yes.
Director Boyd.
Yes.
Director Kaczynski.
Yes.
Director Rotora.
Yes. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to item 10, current business and committee reports, consent calendar, approval of board meeting minutes and account payable disbursements. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent calendar of the approval of the minutes of August 11th regular meeting, August 28th special board meeting, and approval of the accounts payable disbursements.
May I have a second? Second. All right, thank you. I have a first and a second. Are there any comments from the public on these items? No one here sitting with us is jumping up. Is there anybody online that would like to make a comment? All right, any discussion from the directors? Then let's call for the vote, please. No, the motion passes unanimously. I'm still waiting on my own screen, though. There we go. Item B, let's go for Plant and Equipment Committee report. Water connection to APN 343-153 TAC 06 Pickerel Street. Who would like to take that on?
I will go ahead and take that. So this item originally came to P&E this month from the Auburns who own the parcel, requesting a connection. It's a little complicated, so I'll try to make it as simple as possible. So the district, if you want to go to the next slide, I have some history on there. So the district originally had put in, there was a line put in Pickerel in 1976, and it did not extend to the parcel in question. There was no record of that. There's nothing on the plans that show that. There is something on that parcel. We don't know how something got onto that parcel. There's no plans. The district has no record of service to the parcel. So the district had been blowing off the end of that line for 50 years. And there was a blow off at the end of it. And so the district decided about 7-8 years ago to go ahead and cut off the line. Now there's a hydrant south of where it used to end. And so we cut that off there and been blown off the hydrant. So the Auburns who purchased that property decided to come to the district and say, hey, we think you should put that water line back in service because it used to service this parcel. But we have no record of it ever servicing the parcel. So our requirement would be to install a new mainline extension to that parcel. So during that discussion during P&E, the representative of the Auburns, their engineer, Mr. Travis Reed, made the request that perhaps a variance would be better and install a meter either off of Springer or at the end of the line on Pickrell to service that parcel. And in the map, if you can kind of zoom in a little, the parcel is the one that has the red box around it. This is something the district has done in the last 10 years, has given a variance to somebody for this, to put a meter, because they're kind of landlocked. They don't front a main, and so they put a meter at the street where it's closest, and then they'd run their lateral up an easement to their property.
Okay.
So that is the current request right now for the Auburns. I don't know if Mr. Reed or Mr. Auburn is on the line and would like to make any other comments about that.
This is Travis. I am here.
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize. I couldn't be there in person. I'm not feeling the greatest if you can't hear it in my voice. But I just want to, first of all, thank you to your staff. They've been great to work with going through this whole process, trying to figure out what was there or what we thought was there and what actually was shown on plans. They made that part very, very easy to get through. Secondly, there's an existing access easement, and the district has a 30-foot easement for utilities that abut both sides of the property. So that would be the easement that we would be requesting to run our lateral in, which would not be maintenance by the district. Obviously, we would ask the district, they could put it at the right of way that would be privately maintained. And then I just felt after talking about the mainline extension, it didn't really seem to make much sense to extend that line back down there, especially after Renee and John pointed out that there's nothing else that it would ever service. So I felt like putting a main line in and causing more maintenance for your guys' staff just didn't seem like the best solution for everybody. So that's why we made the request for a variance to potentially just have a surface and then have it be privately owned all the way to the parcel.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Reed.
And then in discussions recently, the district had discovered there might be possible litigation regarding the parcel in question. So we had some discussions with Jim. I know that the neighbors are here who may have filed the litigation to give us more details. So Jim, I don't know if you want to say anything about that or go ahead and hear from them at this point.
No, honestly, I've talked to Renee and John about this a couple times, including last week, and it's been evolving in terms of facts that are going on. So I had a conversation with both John and Renee, I think at 12 o'clock today. And I hear there's potential litigation, potential dispute about the interpretation of the easement. So I'm more than happy to listen to, I believe it's Mr. Brett that's going to speak. But, you know, right now, from my standpoint, unless I hear something, there's too many uncertainties for me to recommend that we move forward without doing additional due diligence. And with that, I'll let somebody speak that knows more about this than I do, which would be the landowner.
Would you like to make a comment, sir?
And before he does that, I need to make a statement also. I need to go back by looking, I only looked at the property address when I was looking at this. So when you ask if there was any conflicts, I do have a conflict on this because Mr. Brett is a relative, so I will be.
You'll need to recuse your, okay, you'll recuse yourself. Thank you.
Yes.
From the discussion and from the vote.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brett. Please go ahead.
My name is Ed Brett. My wife here also, Ann Brett. We live on 801 East Springer. And the property that the Auburn's have is in the middle of our property. And the easement is going right in front of our house. So.
Could I get you to speak a little closer to the
Move
mic,
it up a
please?
little. Yeah, there you
Sorry
go.
about that.
Thank you, sir.
So we had a little conflict with them so that we have an attorney. So everything is in litigation right now. I have the letter with me from my attorney that I can give to you guys stating that the property itself is in litigation right now. And it started in September 8th, 2023. And the court date for it to go into court is March 13th, 2026. So
Okay.
I got the paper for you guys. You want it?
No, it's,
Yeah, you can.
Along those-
I'll make sure that they.
Yeah, and Mr. Brett, do you mind if I call your attorney to talk to him about this? Very good. Thank you.
Yes, it says you can contact.
Do any of the directors have a question for Mr. Brett?
I don't have a question for Mr. Brett, but I do want to ask what the recommendation is from legal and from operations.
No.
Sounds to me like everything's on hold until this is settled.
Legal's recommendation is to allow staff and legal to do additional due
Okay.
diligence so we know exactly what we're dealing with, and we don't know that today. That's all I've got.
Okay. I don't disagree with that.
All right. Okay.
Mr. Brett, was there a map that went with this letter? Because there's a referring to a parcel A and things like that, so, okay. Okay, when you get a chance.
So it's just a,
Show the roads around it and stuff other instead of zooming in on it, so.
all right. So just to review, to make sure everybody is clear on this, our staff is going to take a look at all of the paperwork and have legal's going to take a look at the lawsuit information. And then once that is, once they're ready, they'll give us a report back on it. So we won't take any additional action tonight on this issue. Okay, thank you. Dune 3 agreement. Update agreement between
It's
district.
you, Jim.
So the board approved the consolidation agreement a couple months ago. That was approved by the state board. We finally were able to talk to Mr. Zagala, and he filled in some blanks, and it's pretty much set to go, except for the fact that we're trying to figure out the transition from the billing structure. Apparently Renee didn't talk to Ty about this. So anyway, the last remaining issue is how we're going to transition from the Dune 3 billing over to the district billing. I understand there's different cycles and everything. So Renee is going to speak to Ty and set up a meeting on Tuesday or Wednesday. We can go through that, and then we'll go ahead and put that to word, and we should be good to go. We hope to get something back out to the state board and Mr. Zagala by the end of the week.
So we're waiting on coordination of the billing cycles. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's all I have.
Does anyone else, any board members have questions?
So there's really no action from the board at this point? Okay.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the public?
Just so you know, I had left it on the agenda because I wasn't sure at the time, because I hadn't spoken to Jim whether he had something he wanted to show the board, so.
Because Renee was supposed to talk to Ty.
That is not true.
It makes it look like,
Attorney might.
it makes it look like you're running a very efficient, quick meeting.
All right. But just as a reminder, the staff, do not make the president snort, please. Item 3, purchase of skid steer bids.
Yes, the district has gone out for 3 bids. We received a total of 8 for a new skid steer. This has been in the budget. Was already approved. We were just updating you that we did receive all the proper
Bless you.
quotes. And we found one that we would like to move on. And
So moved.
it is a 2025 JCB 3TS 8W teleskid. It has an extendable boom. It comes with several attachments. We're going to have to buy a couple, but it also comes with some forklift attachments that the district can also utilize this equipment in the yard to backfill if we lose a piece of equipment, such as a forklift or another loader. This particular loader reaches into our 10-yard dump truck as well. The other skid steers really do not. So another reason why we went after the telehandler. We can put a brush hog attachment and go under the solar panel instead of cleaning those weeds and brushes by hands. So acres and acres will now be done by a piece of machine instead of 3 to 5 gentlemen out there with hose, rakes, and pitchforks in a dump trailer. So, or torches, yes. So the teleskid price was $85,599.77. Along with that will be a trailer that will be purchased to haul this piece of equipment around as well. That trailer comes with a warranty. It will be shipped to Bakersfield. We can go pick it up. It is a future trailer as well. We can put a backhoe on it also. So if we're going to start going out and helping other communities, This trailer can encompass multiple uses for us instead of us buying multiple trailers. So if in front of you, we would like to get your blessing to go ahead and purchase these.
Okay, do we have, Director? 'Cause it-
Yeah, Plant and Equipment looked at this and at least one of the board members there. We couldn't come to an agreement because I was the only one there, but I recommended bringing it to the board. But my opinion is that we need to proceed with this. It is budgeted,
Okay,
okay? And I like the idea of the trailer because that prevents you from driving this darn backhoe all over town. Like, I hate to see that all the
Right.
time, yeah.
Yeah, and we're having issues, you know, when you start what they call roading a hoe everywhere, it's hard on the equipment.
Yeah.
Those aren't made to be driven out to Inyakern or out to Buttermilk Acres. You know, they're made to be put on a trailer and transported. So that's a lot of wear and tear on that equipment, and it causes more issues than we want to deal with. So this trailer will solve many issues.
okay.
And John, your people saw the equipment, looked
Yeah,
at it,
So,
they're
we
happy
had-
with it?
Yes, we had Ty's, one of Ty's employees and my employee Caleb and Robert went to Bakersfield. They went to the JCB plant that they carry, well, their showroom. So they got to run all the different types of equipment. They got to test it. They got to run it through whatever kind of mobility test they decided that would work for them. They were impressed. The good thing is that this company also monitors this equipment. They usually know what's going on wrong with it before we would. When you go to this company, when you buy a piece of equipment from this company, you get a shelf dedicated for all parts and materials for this piece of equipment. They keep it in stock. The JCB is now in Tennessee is where they're manufacturing. So 3 to 4 days, you can have any part that's broken. This company also offers future service for us, to service our generators that we have Cummins doing out of Bakersfield right now. This company is a warranty company for them. They're also a warranty company for Ford, which they could service our service vehicles as well, just in case we can't get those serviced in town. They offer many different types of flexibility to work with the district. And for instance, the owner came out and met with our gentleman and walked around and described where he's taking his company, where he wants to go with it. So it is a very young and upcoming company. 26 service trucks is available to come help serve our needs, along with every other week they're out here at China Lake. So we're not going to go without equipment like we have in the past, only soul sourcing our equipment.
Okay.
So it offers many, I mean, they're going to be able to work on New Holland if need be as well.
Okay.
So
And
I just want to make one comment about the JCB. It's, I have one. I think it's a great tractor. It is the safest skid steer for our employees. It's the only skid steer on the market that you can actually get out of the cab if you have something on your forks or in your bucket, because it exits to the left. And so it doesn't exit out the front of the bucket. So it's very safe. And as Mr. Savicka said, they have, JCB's great with service. I mean, you can call the guy salesman that I deal with is Raul. I don't know who you're dealing with.
yes,
but
Raul.
He is very responsive, and they will come over the same day to fix something. So
The owner will bring stuff out as needed. He's already made that clear. He's like, look, you guys are a public utility. We know how you operate. If I need to get in my truck and bring you parts, I will get in my truck and bring you parts.
Director Torre, do you have any questions?
Yes, I was looking in our capital equipment budget,
Mhm.
and I noticed there's a excavator listed for 180K.
Mhm.
Is this that?
No,
No.
the excavator was a different purchase.
Okay. So I thought I read in something in the packet that it was in the budget, but where is it in the budget?
In the equipment. It's it's in equipment under skid steer on the budget.
Okay, so it's not the 180K. How much was in the budget?
It was 180 we have set aside for it.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
180, same amount.
Oh, there was 180
Yes,
in our capital equipment budget?
yes.
Okay. Um, is it in the unrestricted budget or the restricted budget?
It's under your bond funds.
Or
Bond funds.
bond funds, okay. All right, okay, so as long as it's in the budget, I'm okay.
Thank you. Director Boyd?
What's the package price? You mentioned a trailer.
I'm sorry, so the trailer is going to be 25,000, just a little over $25,000. And that is a PJ trailer that we're going to go after. We also got a quote from Texas Pride. A little more expensive and not as good as a warranty. So we're going to go with the PJ.
So you got a package deal, 80K less than budget.
So far, yes. Now we do have to equip a truck to pull this. So we're going to take a truck that we've had set aside for several years, which is an F450. And we will put a bed that we can repurpose out of our yard as well. And we'll put a gooseneck on there and start being able to move this equipment around until funds allow us to purchase a new truck for this.
You can borrow the GMs.
I appreciate that. I'll ask them.
And you'll need to,
You guys wouldn't want to pay that price.
and you'll need to set some money aside to buy the brush hog and the other optional equipment. Is that correct?
No, we've already received several quotes for that as well.
Okay.
That's all well within the budget. We just haven't chose which brand we're gonna go with. If we buy through JCB, it's gonna be a few $1,000s more than buying it through a third party. So that's why we didn't put anything else in there. This will come with a set of 6K forks with the purchase.
So you have a skid steer that is capable of multiple functions, and you have a trailer that can be used for more than just the skid steer.
Yes,
And with the actual, you can buy those two things, and with the optional equipment that you'd like to purchase, that all squeezes within the 180,000?
yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from the public? We have one person online. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, this is Renee West-Delusk. I live within Ridgecrest city limits. I have a question or more than one question for Mr. Savidka. The skid steer, what does this equipment, because I'm a layperson, I have no idea what this equipment looks like. Does it look like a forklift?
So you probably refer to it as a Bobcat. So it's a small four-wheel tractor that with a bucket attachment in the front that we can disconnect and put any attachment that they make for it, a brush hog, a broom, a trencher, you name it, we can put it on there.
What do you mainly use this equipment
So we'll
for?
use this equipment in the yard as a backup to when we have equipment down. We can use it out under our solar panels to clean up under our solar panels. We can use it, for instance, in Heritage on the tight streets when we have a major leak and we got to get in there and sweep stuff up. We can take this and put the broom attachment onto this and clean up those roads efficiently.
Yeah, I'll also say that this is related to our formation of a construction crew, so they have other pieces of equipment that can do different things than the current pieces of equipment that we already have. And so it just gives us a lot of flexibility in what we can do, and it sort of broadens our scope of capability.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Renee. So we have it in the budget. Are you looking for
This
any
is in the,
official action, or is just
this is in the
information?
board's level of approval, not mine.
Yes. Just
Okay.
looking for approval. It's over George's approval amount,
Okay.
especially when we add the trailer on as well. The trailer is in George's approval amount, but we just gonna try to get both of them at one shot.
All right, we're gonna need
I'll make a motion that we just give the staff approval to purchase the JCB and the trailer.
Can I
I'll
have a
happily second that.
Okay. Is there any additional discussion? Then let's go ahead and call for the vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4, notice of exemption, Brady Street Mainline Replacement Project. Renee.
So part of the preparation to get started on The replacement of that main line on Brady is to comply with CEQA. So I've prepared a notice of exemption that's in your board packet. And it is a categorical exemption. This is the same exemption we used for the Northwest or Indian Kern Road transmission line project because we are replacing in place the pipeline. So it is an exemption, and there's no expansion of capacity of the pipeline. Matter of fact, it's a reduction in capacity of the pipeline, so.
Nothing new, it's just a replacement, and
Mhm.
we send that exemption to the state of California.
Yes, it'll be filed with the state and it's also sent to the county and posted on their website
Okay.
for a 30-day period for comment.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments from the Director Boyd?
I've received a couple of questions from John Q. Public regarding the sunburn on the blue pipe that's in our yard. And they're curious if that's going to damage the product. I know we've tried to cover, it looks like there's.
We discussed that in the plant and equipment, so too bad.
I should have been there. I was there for 2 minutes of it.
John can fill you in.
So the 24-inch pipe, no, it's really not going to affect it. If we left it out there for a longer period of time, yes. It doesn't weaken it. We've had this in the past. It is a super thick pipe. That pipe right there is over probably close to 2 inches thick. So the sunburn on the pipe is just discoloration.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've had instances with smaller, thinner pipe. Yes, it would be an issue, but not that large pipe, no. In the meeting that you weren't able to attend for.
We won't let you
for
forget
For
that.
any reasons, we are gonna ask you guys to purchase a steel building to put that up under in the future. So all pipe will be covered at all times.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
So I'm just looking for the board to approve or staff to file the notice exemption.
Do
I
you,
have one comment. This is for the phase 2, correct?
This is for the entire length of the pipeline that we'd be replacing from Indian Kern Road to Bowman. This would cover all of it. We're not doing all that this year,
Okay.
but it will cover the whole thing.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the public? All right.
we need a motion to approve. Is that what you're looking for?
I'll make a
Joe?
motion.
And I'll staff to do the postings required by law.
You've done that? Is that what you did?
I will do that. That's what I
Okay.
meant.
That's your motion? I'll second that.
I don't know if the public heard you, Jim, because your microphone went on.
A motion to approve the notice of exemption and authorize staff to make all the required postings and recordings as required by law.
All right.
We
Jim,
have we have a first from Vice President Griffin and a second from
Second.
Director Kaczynski.
yes.
All right, any additional discussion? I'll call for the vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, item C, Administration/Executive Committee. Addition of temporary positions for the pipeline project.
Yeah, this is just, I'll take this one. Give John a break. We kept him busy. Essentially, we're just checking some boxes here. We do know that in the future, we're going to need a couple of temporary positions. I believe we've asked for 3, is that correct? So we're asking for authorization from the board for at the appropriate time when we need those positions to do the construction work using CIP funds, that it is authorized by the board so we can just press ahead. We're probably gonna have to get those people a month or 2 ahead of time to get them trained and make sure we have them ready to actually do the construction. So we're just, you know how schedules are, like the actual day we put a shovel into the ground is currently scheduled for November, December, but things can slip. So we're just asking for your approval at this point in time for those positions, temporary positions.
Do any of the directors have questions? No? Director Rotora?
Is it in the budget?
Yes, this will be covered by it's a CIP item. It'll be covered by the funds that we will use it's part of the cost of doing the construction of the pipeline along Brady.
Okay, so, okay, so it's going to be part of a restricted fund cost?
That's correct, I believe. Ty can verify. Yep, Ty's shaking his head. That's a yes.
Which particular fund are we?
So Brady is funded by the 2024 bond fund.
Okay, okay.
The point of order that was nodding his head.
Okay. Here's the thing, if I,
Director Boyd, do you have a question? Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion?
So I guess I'll go ahead and make the motion to the addition of, I guess, three, did you say 3 or 4 temporary positions?
Up to 3.
Up to 3 temporary positions for the Brady Pipeline Project.
I'll second that.
Is there any additional discussion? Okay. Call for the vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item D, comprehensive adjudication.
Sure, there's not a lot to report new on this. With respect to Phase 1, I believe everybody's aware that the court gave the proposed statement of decision on the Federal Reserve water right. Objections were filed by multiple parties in there, and then there were also responses to the objections filed, much like an opposition, and then a reply to it. Those have all been filed with the court, and now the matter is in the court's hands. He could do a couple things. He could ask for additional briefing. That's probably not likely. Could request a hearing, or what we think he's just go ahead and issue a final statement of decision after considering the the objections and the responses. Hopefully we could have something within 30 days, but I think the court has up to 90 days to make the decision. Phase 2 is moving forward. We had the expert reports were exchanged on August 15th. Both we gave ours, and then I think both the Navy and the GA gave reports, as well as Searles and Meadowbrook. So we're just moving forward. Rebuttal expert reports is the next main goal that will happen, and that will be in November. And while we're going ahead and preparing the rebuttal reports, discovery it will commence, and the parties will start to take part in written discovery, interrogatories, requests for production of documents, a situation like that. And the trial is still set for June of 2026. That's all I have on the adjudication at this time.
Are there any questions from the directors? Any questions or comments from the audience? We have one online. Go ahead, bring the caller up, and then we'll have Mr. Neal. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, this is Renee Westerlusk again. I just wanted to know, you mentioned about a final decision. You said it would be made 30 to 90 days. From what date?
Well, it doesn't. The court generally has.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
The court generally has 90 days to issue a ruling. I think they were done within the filings were done within the past couple weeks. So I would expect something within 30 to 45 days. It's the judge's discretion how long that will take. This judge has been very responsive, and we don't expect to have to wait long for him to make a decision on that. That's all I really know.
What happens after the final decision? Is this part of the Phase 1 totally over with?
Yes, unless there was an appeal or petition brought by one of the parties that weren't happy with it. But yeah, that would resolve Phase 1, and we'd move on to Phase 2.
And then you were talking about expert reports. Is that referring to Phase 2?
It is. The parties have exchanged their initial expert reports in August. And now in November, we will do what's called rebuttal reports, where we do reports critiquing the other side's expert report, and that will happen from both sides.
So you're saying the expert reports were already filed by the end of August?
They were filed on August 15th, the middle of August.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Westalesk. Mr. Neal.
Yes, Mike Neal. So one question I actually didn't have in my mind when I first started up here. There was this back and forth, mainly on the part of the GA, that the water district was not providing their model of the basin. Are these expert reports, is that what they're calling the model?
Thank you, George. The models were actually exchanged back, I believe it was April 21st. So there has been a model exchange. That was part of the discovery. Now we've done the model, you have to have certain hardware in order to run it. So the average person wouldn't know what to do with it. The expert reports are starting to put these technical reports into words that the layperson can understand.
Okay, all right, understood. Just for matter of going on the record, it hasn't been actually stated at this meeting. The information was out there. You kind of have to go after it and dig it out. But the court said that, well, the Navy doesn't actually own all the water in the valley. They have rights to 2,000 acre feet. That was, I believe, the number, unless I got it wrong. And the only real thing that really makes any sense when you think about the overall situation, the history of water use in the valley, and scan at least some of the statements by actual admirals. One of them made these allusions to company town kind of things, and hints that, well, we might have to move people back onto the base at some future time. And unless I'm hallucinating here, that's what I remember. And you read that and you just think, they really have an admiral up here making statements like this? I just don't get that at all. I didn't see it helped their case in the least for a statement like that to be thrown out there. And what's on the board right now seems very, very reasonable, and we ought to be able to proceed ahead in whatever fashion. My hope is that we get rid of the GA itself as it is altogether and get an elected GA board of some form. And other allocations can be made in a reasonable fashion. Thanks.
All right, thank you for your comments. All right. Yes, Jim.
I believe the proposed statement of decision, which is the court's decision to award the Navy 2,000 acre feet, I believe it's on the website. Is it, Lauren? So you could actually read it, which is the best way for you to make your own determination.
So just a quick question with regard to the original GSP and how it stands today. The Navy was issued something north of 6,000 acre feet, is that right?
7,000.
7,000?
Well, it wasn't a model, it was the.
No, I mean the grant
GSP
yeah.
made the determination that the safe yield is 7,650 acre feet, and that the Navy had utilized that and had that entire safe yield as their right, and then we all know how it was allocated. But that was a decision by the GA and not the Navy.
So no other entity in the valley or Searles Valley Minerals were actually allotted any of that money, any of that water. It was
allotted to the, honestly, domestic purveyors, and it was called excess Navy water. The water right was the entire safe yield that was estimated by the GA.
okay.
And the Navy's water use is right around 1,500 acre feet. So they took the additional 5,000 acre feet and spread it around amongst small de minimis in Yokern, Trona, and the water district primarily.
All right. So
That's the way it went.
no one but the Navy nobody but the Navy was actually given that water, but what was not being used by the Navy was distributed by the groundwater sustainment plan to various users.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, item E, Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. I guess that's me.
Thank God.
I attended the meeting on 13 August. A couple of public comments that struck me. Ms. Decker said that the original board of the Groundwater Authority spoke about having a manager located here in the valley, and she suggested that they make that happen now and have a local manager. Ms. Sophia Merck said public participation in the meetings could be improved if the waiting time for the closed session could be addressed by the Groundwater Authority. So one of the things we do here is we have an hour and a half closed session before the meeting, and we're done at 6 or close to. And that would be something that would be nice for the Groundwater Authority to adopt, or for the Groundwater Authority to have their closed session at the end of the meeting, so that people who want to participate from the public can actually have a set schedule. Wes Katzenstein thanked the GA for the legislation up in Sacramento, and then he went on to say social media is problematic, but the GA needs an online presence. That's with reference to Groundwater Authority staff wanting to have a Facebook page. And then Mr. Mike Sanat read a prepared statement. So with regard to items 9, 10, and 11, which were change orders for Provost and Pritchard, that is to say the 9 and 10, they overran their budget and they needed additional funds. And then item 11 was contract approval for Blue Mountain Project Management to take over project management of the pipeline project. And all of those items passed. I abstained on all 3 of them. And then I asked during the general manager's report, item 13, when the 2023 audit might be available. And I was told that it would be available at this coming board meeting on the 10th. And it is in the agenda as receive and file. So I'll ask for a copy of that when it becomes available. And we can see if we can get that and take a look at it. There was the delay, according to the manager of the Groundwater Authority, was due to confusion about billing that was being done for the Groundwater Authority, the pass-through that comes from our customers and goes to the GA. A short story long, the GA and the Water District manager at the time came up with an agreement where they would pay an estimated amount of money for the year, and then it turns out that we didn't use as much water as was estimated. So we were actually using less, and that trend continues year after year. So they were having to come up with a way of reimbursing the Water District for that money. So important point, the excess was being paid from our reserve funds, and so the money comes back to our reserve funds. And I think that's about as much as I've got. Does anybody have a question? Director Krasinski.
I want to just make the comment. So it's very clear that we were paying the fees collected, but we weren't collecting enough because of those agreements, so we were having to take the remaining out of our reserves. So there's nothing being charged to our customers that shouldn't have been. So all that money that's credited back is credited back to our reserves.
They were charged, our customers were charged for the water they used. The
Right.
Water District was paying for an estimated water
Right.
usage that did not materialize.
Right.
Right. Vice President Griffin.
I just wanted to tell Ron, thanks for clarifying that, because I listened to the meeting and I understood the question get asked to you, when was the ratepayers going to get paid back?
Right.
And the ratepayers did not overpay. Technically, I mean, in my opinion, they are overpaying because they are paying a groundwater fee, but and I believe, just so I'm clear on where we're around $18 million now that our ratepayers have paid the Groundwater Authority. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, I wanted to finish up.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for getting the 2023 audit. Now start asking for the 2024.
Okay.
Because they should have all that ironed out about how the credits work. So that shouldn't be an excuse to delay it. And then I want to go on to what Chuck was saying, and I'm going to ask Ty if you can do this. Once you get the 23 in your hands, can you, again, I've asked this, can you come up with they should have 3 accounts. They should have pumping fee account, they should have mitigation account, and replenishment fee account. There should be like 3 accounts of money, as I understand it. Will you be able to tell from that audit how much they have in the replenishment fee account? Not what's owed it, but how much is actually there. Should you be able to get that from the audit? At least at the end of 2023.
Yeah, I'll look through it and it should be there.
So you can bring back something that says, okay, at the end of 2023, we'd pay this much replenishment fee, and here's how much is truly in the bank.
Right.
I'd certainly like to see that. I think our customers need to know that with that kind of money being collected. I know that I'm a customer too. I'd like to certainly know where that money's going. And hopefully you can tell from it. So please work on that and get back with us. And of course, we can't do 2024 until that audit gets here. Thank you.
Director Boyd?
My question was exactly what Ron just asked.
Okay.
Hopefully that the audit, and I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to determine that while you're sitting there and point out that that data is not easily seen, but that's another avenue.
I haven't received a board packet. I've only received the agenda.
You'll get the board packet the day before, I believe.
That's the custom.
Probably
yes.
tonight.
That's the custom.
But
Director?
it should be, again, we've asked for this for years. There should be a finance committee to where you have a monthly budget so where we could actually see as our books
Yes.
that show a running bank account that shows where that money's at. So I've asked for it when I was there and I hope.
I will.
President Zane
And
Martin will
everybody
ask
did.
For a finance committee or at least a monthly monitor to see where the money's being spent.
Director Rotora? No, nothing? Do we have any questions or comments from the audience?
Yes, I hurt my back. Judy Decker, as you know, I attend all those meetings. I was vice chairman of the Policy Advisory Committee. I would like you to know that the Policy Advisory Committee has not met for years, so we have no idea what policy the GA is going to set forth on Wednesday regarding their social media policy that will be overseen by a private contractor. I would like to point out to you that, as you mentioned, I did at the last GA meeting, when Peter Brown was on the GA for the Water District, he repeatedly stated the need for a finance committee and was backed up by many members of the public. There is yet to be a finance committee. I do believe, Chuck, when you were on the board, you specifically asked the board, the GA board, to vote on having closed sessions until 11 o'clock a.m. And then if they were not finished, to adjourn to open session and finish the meeting later. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Well, last month they ignored it. So we will have to remind them that they did vote on that. I know you are totally opposed to the pipeline project. I have done a little bit of poking on that project. I have discovered that to date, the GA has had to spend over $700,000 with the Bureau of Land Management. Keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you very much.
A quick comment about the proposed, I guess, social media. There's, there's going to be a cost to that, and that needs to be asked. It isn't just all of a sudden within whoever you hire to do your public relations, they're going to do it within whatever contract they have. There should be an estimated cost if you start doing this, what it's going to cost. And I also would say that if, before anything got approved, it should go through the committee, the policy committee.
Mhm.
It ought to be looked at by them because they worked so hard on the original public outreach and they can put this together. So so basically I'm agreeing with Judy that, you guys need to see this stuff and you need to have what is the cost of this? There's money's being spent, it's just being spent. And no one's asking where it's coming from and how much things has cost.
Yeah, I have a note to ask just that very question and
Thank
to
you,
ask about the policy committee. Judy, are there still members of the policy committee or did they dissolve it?
Well, Renee Westalask is one.
Okay,
There are two domestic well owners. George
Yeah.
theoretically is one. I believe those entities who are involved in the adjudication Seals Valley Minerals, Meadowbrook Dairy. They have withdrawn, I believe,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. And now, shoot, what was I gonna say?
Sorry about that.
Darn it. Yes,
It'll,
went right out.
I'm familiar with that phenomenon.
It gets worse as you get older, let me say.
Yeah,
You'll think of it and then just tell us, yeah.
Yeah.
Just raise your hand and we'll hear what you have to say.
Mike Neal. So on the bottom up, I've heard things brought out. They just had a review of the city's Measure P tax funding and what they're spending it on and so forth. And they tried to mask over what the city is spending on their quote unquote public relations expenditures by giving a percentage of the budget instead of the actual number. Well, it takes 10 seconds to figure that out. Ends up being $240,000. And this is to pay people post things on Facebook. As far as I know, that is it. As far as their public quote unquote outreach goes. Well, they're paying video guys because they put these little quickie little videos on Facebook too, but still all falls under doing Facebook posts. So if you want the GA to waste some more money when they've proven over and over and over again, they really don't care what the public thinks. They really don't want them there at the meetings, or they'd hold them at a better time. Or they wouldn't make them sit and wait forever after they decide to, have an executive closed session going past 11 o'clock, and they just take their sweet time about it, whatever they demonstrated clearly. We don't really care what you members of the public have to think, have to say, or what you think about things. So you have to wonder, what is all this business with public relations? And, we're gonna try to communicate to the public all of a sudden. Just a reminder to people who might be listening to this, and this has been, thank Director Griffin for bringing up the number, but, we shelled out $18 million to this GA. And where are we now? What do we have for that $18 million? Not enough, that's for sure.
Understood. Thank you for your comments.
Oh, Judy remembered.
Oh, good. Welcome back, Judy.
In my possession that I will bring to the GA meeting, if I can remember to do so. A news article about Mr. Zuckerberg and Facebook,
Oh,
and how Facebook is acquiring personal information from users. I am opposed to it, and I am especially opposed to the GA using a PR firm or whatever they are. Carol mentioned the name of who it was, answering questions that are posted on Facebook from people in this valley. Or not in the valley. Well, yes, who the heck knows who you're gonna get?
and Mr. Sinat also mentioned the fact that Facebook is collecting personal information from its users. Okay. Are there any other questions? We have one caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, this is Renee Westelusk. As far as the other members of the Policy Advisory Committee, there was Wes Katzenstein, Lyle Fisher, John Kersey represents the Navy on the PAC. There was Camille from Seals Valley Mineral. We did have a new BLM rep, but we didn't have any more meetings where they could be on the committee because I forgot the other BLM gentleman had taken another assignment somewhere. And then there's Regina from Trona, and then Tim Carroll from Inyakern Community Service District. And then there was a position for our general manager of the Water District, George Kroll, to be on there. So that's the makeup of the Policy Advisory Committee
Okay.
before Dave Janis resigned, so as chair, so I don't know where we're gonna be if all these people are still here and available. You know, some people, they get too busy, they can't serve or whatever.
Okay. Well,
But I
will-
just thought I'd let you know, it was a pretty good size committee.
All right, good. Thank you. I will ask them so the staff was directed to create a policy, their legal department was supposed to review it. I'll ask if the legal has reviewed it. If they have, then I'll ask them to direct it to the policy committee, which they should be doing because it is official policy.
Yeah, it was, I think the sad thing was I attended 2 meetings and I was promised that they would have future meetings where we would get to review all of the changes to the
Okay.
updated GSP, which never came to pass, and there were no more meetings, which is another sad thing because we never got a chance to even review the proposed changes.
So when they do their audits, one of our directors has been there before, do they give a presentation during the meeting of the audit, or they just say, hey, we have an audit, would you like?
I think they did not a big presentation. If anything at all, I say, here's an audit.
Okay,
I don't think they actually changed, they didn't really update the GSP. Well, they did a review, right?
okay,
Of
yes,
the-
that's correct.
So since there were no changes, they could probably just say, well, there's no point in going to, I'm just being cynical, I
I get
apologize.
you.
But I get that way
Well,
after 4 years.
But you won't get a chance to ask questions about the audit. I don't believe there's any detailed presentation. I don't remember a detailed presentation about any audit. It's just, here's the audit, file it.
All right.
Yeah.
So if there are no more questions, then I will go ahead and close out this item. But I first would like to say that it is the policy of this water district to have a presentation on the audit at one of their open meetings. That's the definition of transparency. And transparency is, District of Transparency is a reward, an award we get every year and have done so for the last, I can't remember how many years. I find it disturbing that the Groundwater Authority does not have the presentation of the audit during their general meetings. I find it disturbing that they talk about having gotten all sorts of public and committee input, yet they don't have a policy committee that's functional. They don't have a finance committee, which the Water District has, and all of these things need to be addressed. And they should be addressed soon. So we'll move on to item F, General Manager and Staff Update, Water and Production, New Services, et cetera.
Okay, got my microphone to work. Nothing significant to report on employee injuries. 68 water smart conversations, 17 field visits. Delinquent account lockoffs has gone down a little bit, 62, that's good. Wow. 2,031 notifications via water smart and 17 field visits. That's a pretty, is that number higher than I had seen in the past, Ty?
I don't think so.
No, is that high? Okay.
It's every time someone's notified of a leak, and oftentimes they're notified multiple times.
Yeah, so it was, as we talked about Facebook, there was a person who I replied to personally that complained that the water district notified her by Water Smart that she had a leak, and the water district showed up in 15 minutes and turned her water off, and she complained about our level of service. So I tried to, you can't win even when the system works exactly the way it's designed, but I did give her the opportunity to call me, and sometimes when they talk about people posting on Facebook, I often go on there when there are personal complaints and give my personal phone number, encourage people to call me. They rarely do, but sometimes it turns out to be productive, and I really want to thank the people who do monitor that and forward, like, hey, there's something on Facebook that you should look at.
This is a good time to shout out to Skip Gorman. And he spotted a small leak. He thought it was a small leak, notified our offices here, and then called me. I let George know about it. I guess John already was on it. But that's what we need. When the public's out there and they see these things, call us. Because it could have turned into something worse. We didn't know what it was, but it was a leak. Nothing real serious, but they got taken care of right away. So I appreciate when the public participates. So shout out to Skip.
And a shout out to our employees who respond at a moment's notice. Next slide. Legislative report, 1413 passed the Senate appropriations, 1466, we'll have a little more conversation. It started out as establishing a higher standard of review in court, and we worked with a coalition of people to enact changes to that legislation. And so we'd like to have the board review and discuss these changes that were made, basically removed this higher standard of review and replaced it with some language that gives the court greater flexibility in working with small pumpers to ensure that the impact to them is minimized. And we think this is actually the staff believes this is a good thing. We're really excited about the fact that we took a bill that maybe was not what we thought was great. We did have an oppose unless amended, and they did, Mr. Hart over there in Santa Barbara County, the representative, he worked closely with our staff and our consultants, and they achieved some pretty substantial changes that are really, we believe, are going to benefit small pumpers. And so I would leave it to the board and perhaps legal to discuss whether they would like to change the official water district position from one of oppose unless amended to either, I guess you can go neutral and have no opinion, or you can actually go to a position of actual support because they've adopted a number of amendments that we have suggested.
So can we do that with it listed like this on the agenda right now, or, because I have a few comments about it. I've read through it.
I have something I'd like to read here. It's lengthy, but it sort of explains how the small pumpers were protected and what we did in the.
Go ahead, Director Kaczynski.
I'll try to shorten where I can. In April 2025, Indian Wells Valley Water District took a position of oppose unless amended to AB 1466 relating to groundwater adjudications. At the time, the bill included two main components. One, a provision dealing with the standard review for challenges to groundwater sustainability plan, GSP within adjudication, and two, a provision charging groundwater sustainability agencies in an adjudication with a duty to prepare a report on groundwater uses by small pumpers in the basin. The district opposed unless amended position was based on a potential confusion that would be created by the standard of review language and a concern that the GSE report provisions are not the best way to ensure that small pumpers can protect their groundwater rights in adjudication. Over the interviewing months, and I don't know if I need to go through all this, we worked with Hart's office to develop amendments that have addressed nearly all of the concerns and improved the law pertaining to small pumpers' participation in groundwater adjudications. Specifically, amendments have removed the confusing language regarding the standard review, which blurred the distinct legal question of adjudication and GSP validity. In addition, the bill now contains language that requires the court in a groundwater adjudication to decide early in the case whether it will use its existing authority to exempt or otherwise streamline participation of groundwater users who pump less than 5 acre-feet per year, the de minimis users. The bill also creates a streamlined pathway for participation by other small pumpers, those who use up to 100 acre-feet annually, by creating a rebuttable presumption that a qualifying pumper's claimed water usage in their initial disclosure is accurate. These changes, with the district help craft, make meaningful changes that lower the barrier to participation for smaller pumpers when adjudication is filed. These options for small pumpers may not require them to hire a lawyer. Even if a pumper did hire a lawyer, it would reduce the cost of that representation by allowing a small pumper to provide their claimed water right to the court and then sit on the sideline of the litigation without risk losing their right. Recently, the provisions regarding the GSA's report on small pumpers have been modified to reduce burdens and costs. I think that's probably the main point I wanted to make about small pumpers.
Okay.
So it's made it easier for small pumpers to lay their claim in adjudication without having to hire lawyers.
Okay.
Okay, which I think is so important. So that's what I have.
1 second.
So I guess my question goes back to legal. Could I make a motion if that's what I chose to do? To change our stance with it listed like this?
I believe so. I could justify it under the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority heading, or it says pertinent legislative update. So I believe this is, it's okay to go ahead and take action on this.
I would just want to make a statement. This is what, for the past year and a half, we've caught nothing but literally hell from the groundwater authority stating that the water district was against the de minimis users, the small pumpers. We wanted to take their water. We have no intentions of doing that, never. The only reason they were included in the adjudication was because it was a comprehensive adjudication. So I want to thank Mr. Hart for amending this bill. I think it's great that he listened and made changes. So I will make a motion, if I can make it now, to support.
To change our
This
position to
support
support.
this bill.
Okay.
He needs to take a second first, and then we can retain more comments. So we have a motion, I'll second it.
Ron will second it.
So
All right.
now we can go for more comments.
Director Boyd.
I would just say it's consistent with what we said before. Yeah, we oppose unless amended. They've amended it. Thank you, Mr. Hart, in a way that's acceptable to us. And so this
You
is,
second it?
this isn't an issue. Absolutely.
Okay. Director Rattore, do you have a comment?
Oh, I was just curious whether or not our legal staff has reviewed the verbiage in the 1466 to make sure that we're running amok from the DOJ and the comprehensive adjudication.
No, I think Ron read that it does provide additional protections for small pumpers. The other thing that it does is it protects the small pumpers without risking a comprehensive adjudication. You cannot exempt one pumper from a comprehensive groundwater adjudication and maintain the jurisdiction over the Navy. So that was critical, and that was also accomplished. So we think it's a good bill now. It's a much better bill, and it provides protections to small pumpers, which we've supported. That's all.
Do I have any questions or comments from the public?
Yes, as one of those small pumpers. My question is, how is this going to, first of all, I'd like, is this on your website yet?
Judy, I have a paper copy of the bill language in front of me. I'll give it to you after the meeting.
Thank you.
Is that the one that's crossed up, or is that the final bill language?
Wait a minute. This bill still has to go before the Senate, right?
It's, it's amended, and the Senate has put,
It does have to go to Senate, yes.
There are additions.
Okay. How is this going to affect the present comprehensive adjudication that is before the court in Orange County?
What it does is it tells the GA that they have to do certain technical reports and studies with respect to small pumpers. It allows small pumpers to provide information that isn't challenged to subject unless you can establish there's something wrong there. The burden of proof is on the challenging party. So we'll see how that comes when it's actually put into place, and we'll see how it relates to this comprehensive adjudication. It's more of a statewide amendment, and we are the only adjudication right now that's in our present situation. So I can't give you a definitive answer.
Okay. How, if these two bills are passed by the Senate, how is that going to affect Sigma and the original water code?
It will amend it.
It will amend it.
That's what this is intended to do, amend certain provisions within CEQA or Code of Civil Procedure, but they're intended to impact Sigma. But to be clear, we're talking about 1466. 1413 is a different ballgame, and we're still waiting to see what's going to happen on that. So,
okay, I have followed it, but not followed it like you, of course.
but
But
next
she pays me to follow it.
next time we meet, we'll have a better answer for you of how we think this might impact the comprehensive adjudication. This is all very recent, so we're still, the language is good, provides the protections and the amendments that we were requesting, and now we've got to take the next step.
Okay. George,
George?
Yes.
George, I'm going to have to go. If you don't want to give it to me now, I'll come
No.
get it tomorrow.
Here.
Thank you.
Better than mine.
All right, thank you, Judy. We have a caller who has comments.
Yeah, yes, this is Renee Westerlusk, Ridgecrest, California. I wanted to know what's the timeline in the legislature for even getting these bills? They have to still pass the Senate. And in tradition, usually they have to have all the legislation wrapped up by the end of August. And then I think by mid-September, the governor has to decide what bills he's going to start signing and everything. So are these bills actually going to pass this year?
Director Kozinski has an answer for you.
1466 as amended, it came out of appropriations. Once it hits the Senate floor for a vote, the next place it'll go is to the governor. He can either veto it or pass it. So that's where 1466 is. And so that's why we're lending our support to the bill to Assemblyman Hart. And that should help him get it through the Senate. And from there, it goes on to the governor's desk. But September 12th is the last day that can happen. So that you're talking about Friday, I believe, for the vote.
So it's coming down to the wire for getting all this stuff passed.
Yes.
Even to have the governor look at these bills and decide whether he's going to sign them or not.
Well, he's got the rest of the year.
Veto.
Yeah.
Well, usually they try to get it done way before November. I don't remember the session dragging on. It seems like they're dragging beyond their normal session. I don't know.
The session ends September 12th. The bills that come out of the session on September 12th that pass will go to the governor.
Okay.
Right, so the legislature's involvement ends on Friday.
So it's coming down to the wire, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any additional public comment? All right, then I would like to call for the vote, please.
President St. Amand.
Yes.
Vice President Griffin.
Yes.
Director Boyd.
Yes.
Director Kosinski.
Yes.
Director Ratora.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We are now changing our position on Assembly Bill 1466.
One other comment, that means that the district will be writing a letter to Senator Hart
Yes.
expressing the fact that we are changing ours, remove our opposition, now support.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so we are now supporting the bill. I want to thank Assemblyman Hart for his willingness to cooperate and work with us to see to it that the language is more appropriate for working with Sigma and to add protections for the de minimis users that the Water District has always wanted to see. Right, thank you.
Shall I continue, sir?
Please.
Okay, an interesting story here. We started out looking at landlords who allow leaks to continue unabated. And not sure how it got to these landlords, but we met with a maintenance manager for the Desert Oasis area of La Mirage. And this sort of relates, Mike, to what you were talking about. So one of the things we found out meeting with this maintenance manager is that they own a large number, is it 80 units they have? And so the water is paid for by the landlord, which means that there really is no incentive for the people who are the residents to conserve water, because no matter how much water they use, their rent doesn't change. And this has led to a problem for the landlord. They're losing significant amounts of money because I think he threw a number out there. The average water bill in that area per customer was something like $300 or $400.
$400.
So this, yeah, so as I drove through this again and again, I started looking around and I went, there are a lot of lawns here. And there are a lot of green lawns here, and you see a lot of sprinklers running. So we started down this path looking at leaks, and we are working with this company to try to figure out a way to stop leaks in the streets for the city, and we're negotiating with them on how that might work. But to find out that there was a significant number of units where, there's no incentive to conserve water. In fact, there might be incentives just to use as much water as you'd like is probably not the greatest thing. So, this is what happens when you start going down the path of looking at conserving water. And Mike, I think that eventually there will be some greater level of accountability to the people that, maybe are not conserving water the way we would certainly hope they would. We don't know what that answer is yet, but certainly the landlord is highly motivated to make changes because they can't afford to pay these water bills and they're losing money.
Is there
So,
anything preventing the landlord to Xeriscape?
there are those types of options. The landlord may decide to put all of these units, which are now, so you'll have like 1 meter that services 3 or 4 units or 2 units. They may actually pay to install a separate meter for each home and have, as I suspect this out work, like maybe a new tenant comes in and then they start paying their water bill separately from their rent. And that would be an incentive for people to understand the cost of their water.
It would be nice if the landlords were to look at changing the units over to Xeriscape as they become vacant, so that we can have them look consistently nice and that we can preserve the trees rather than let the trees die. And then it'll go from Vice President Griffin said, the nicest looking place in town to something that looks more like a Halloween display. So push the Xeriscaping with them, see what they can do.
Okay, we will do that.
Thank you.
So that was an interesting meeting, and we really hope that we can work cooperatively with them to make some progress.
Director Vittora has a question.
Have we talked to the city at all to see whether or not they want to partner with us to try to, because it's created a problem for them, and I'm assuming because they have to maintain the streets, and having water come up to the middle of the street, I would assume would be a problem. So it might be worth at least one meeting with the city.
Yeah, John or Renee, have either of you, I know you guys talk to the city all the time. Any conversations about this? I believe there have been.
Yeah, so I've spoke with Travis several times about this issue. So there's 2 factors in that neighborhood. The south part of that neighborhood, the service lateral going under the street is the landlord's. Okay, so from the meter to the house is the landlord's responsibility. So we are in discussions with the Desert Oasis on potentially coming up with a way to help them change out their service laterals, their customer service sides. All the other aspects, I have been working with Travis, with the city, to help get this done quicker. It's the smaller leaks. His guys are turning their road encroachment permits over 1 to 2 days back to them. They are now on the same understanding that they have to follow these guidelines to get these permits done, to get these leaks stopped, to save money, quit wasting water. So they are moving forward with that. They had 6 leaks. They were down to 1 the last time I drove through. So they are working on stopping it themselves.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, John, you want to discuss real quickly the progress you've made looking at individual homeowners who have leaks in that area as well?
Sure. So together, I'll surprise Jim and give him a little draft letter I've wrote. Just kind of come up with the idea of, we've had several homeowners experience water leaks under the road that own units and are dwellings in that area. They've been paying their bill on time. They haven't missed a payment, but sometimes their bill is excessive. So there's a program that, George has approached me with to maybe we can help them out if needed, to where they're not just wasting water for 6 months at a time. One case, we had a gentleman came in every month, paid his bill, never saw the water leak surfaced. He had gone through his units, gone through his sprinkler system, done everything he could, and never found a water leak. We went out there, it was actually right there on the curb and road. It was just popping up slowly. You would have never seen it. That's where we ended up finding it. So, you know, he didn't have the funds to sit there and just go hire a contractor out at the time. So George asked me to put together something to where maybe we could add that onto their bill if we were to assist them. So I have put together kind of an agreement policy here that I'll share with Jim, and then we'll go from there.
So the leak was under the asphalt?
Yeah, it's right there on the asphalt and the curb, yes. And it was just going, never really surfaced. There's certain parts of the ground where leaks will not surface right away. And it'll just get there and soak up and nonstop. So he wasn't wasting. He was losing about 400 gallons a day, not even knowing it. And he was paying on time every month for that water loss.
Okay.
So
So do you already have something written up, or you're gonna submit it to legal first? Is that your
Yeah, I
thought?
have it kind of already written up. I'll submit it to Jim to just kind of a rough draft, see what he would
Okay.
like.
Because I believe this is the only area in town that the services by the customer actually go under the street and cross over the road. Everybody else's are pretty much at their property line,
Yes.
and then they could see it. So I would be all for trying to help out the customers any way we could, if spread their payments out over 12 months or
Yes.
however we needed to do it.
No problem.
All right.
Just probably the original Navy district.
It is, and it's actually a 4 and 6 inch AC pipe over there, I believe, so.
And remember, this is for individual,
6 inch, yes.
individual homeowners, not apartments and such. It's for the individual homeowners.
Well, I would assume the meters weren't even there originally. They probably put them, you know, when the city took over the area, they probably put the meters. in,
Yeah, when my parents lived on base, the water was included in the rent. So was the electricity.
So just want to thank staff. They were the ones that brought this to my attention. Justin kind of came, said, hey, let's drive around this area. Let's look at water leaks. And that's led to a lot of informative and interesting discussions where we're learning about additional places to, you know, conserve water here in our district. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. Yeah, I think we covered just about everything except in admin exec. We had a public records request that we haven't discussed, and it was basically, what is this place called? Transparent California. They post how much people here at the Water District make, but we already do that, but we don't put names next to it. So they ask us for the names. We had to go through like a legal review some years back, and so we give them that information. We respond to that public records request.
That's legal, asking for names? That just seems odd.
Yeah, I think if you're a public employee making over $100,000, your information is public.
People could use that.
There may be some restrictions. We've looked at this a little
Okay.
bit more in depth, but I haven't.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but it is,
Well, yeah, what you do is you're putting information out there in the public, anybody can get to, and they can take advantage of it somehow. I'm not saying how, but you know, people can. Hey, so-and-so has this and so-and-so has this, what can we do? I don't like it, but if the law says it has to be done, what, you know, maybe we need to work on some legislation to stop that.
I think it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Transparent California.
carry on.
So the next one is this special committee that we established for the Indian Current CSD. I don't have anything significant to report. I think we covered again in consolidations. I don't know if any of the two members of that committee have anything to say before we move on.
No.
Microphone, sir.
Next board meeting, we'll have something to offer. I think there's going to be some developments
Okay,
between now and then.
sounds good. Next slide. Okay, upcoming, we got two more farmers market events, and always want to thank the staff. They go out there to do such a fantastic job representing the district, and, you know, since the last board meeting, I guess we just missed one. We reported the last board meeting, and so now we have two for the next one. You know, we do spend a lot of time sort of bashing on Facebook, and I'll just say, like, I think commend our staff for being positive, proactive. I think, stuff that we might post, Judy came up and mentioned, hey, we might have this great event where we talk about landscaping and, we might put a little post out there about that. Who knows? We'll have to discuss that, but, anything to sort of help the people in the valley here understand other ways to conserve water. So, I like that. We've already talked at length about the GA looking to create his own Facebook page or some sort of thing at the next meeting. And interestingly, at the same time, the city posting of sort of GA items, I have not seen that in a while. So that's an interesting, we'll just call it a change. I did make a note, we were talking about the different stuff. Just gotta go throw a shout out to the mayor. He campaigned on getting rid of this Placer AI that steals people's information. I think I saw in the city council that they canceled their contract with Placer AI. And so less information is being, oh, there you go. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, good to see the mayor follow up on his promises, just as a shout out to him. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, consolidations. Renee?
All right, so the first one on there is Interkern CSD and had ad hoc committee. You guys didn't have anything right now. I would just mention that there is the state Resources Control Board has scheduled a public meeting for October 2nd at 6 o'clock at the Interkern Town Hall to talk about the consolidation. That is a meeting that is meant for the CSD customers. And that's open to the public for the CSD. And they will discuss the consolidation then. That's all I have for that. Rademacher, we are with the Sanchez residents they're connected now. They're kind of the original ones that went to the GA and requested help. And so for the phase one, the two customers have been connected. And I know Jim's office is looking at easements so that we can get started with phase two, because we do have originally requested easements from 5 parcels that are in phase two, and we got 2 back right away. And we have not been able to get signatures on the other 3. But there are public access, ingress, egress easements out there that may allow us to go ahead with the construction. And there are also other existing utilities in those areas. So that's where we're at with Rademacher. And we have been getting some reimbursements from the state too for our costs for the grant. Dune 3, we've been working on getting those right of entry agreements from the property owners. We had originally sent out 35. We'd sent another notice a couple weeks ago with some more urgency saying, hey, you need to get these back. We give them a date of September 5th, which was last Friday. Basically saying, if you don't get this signed, you will eventually not have water because the Dune 3 system is going away. We did get some more back. I think I got 4 more today. I think we have 6 more that we still have not received. So there will be a discussion. The state was going to be looking into, what if we don't get them? Can we still go ahead? Because they wanted to get all of them before we can even go out to bid. So we're trying to see if we could still go out to bid and then just deal with that later. Because a lot of times, I don't know why people are hesitant, but when they actually see construction begin, they're going, oh, it's actually going to happen. So then they might be more in tune to, sign those agreements and say, oh yeah, I guess I'm going to have to switch my water service over. So that's where we're at with that. Hometown is just still on hold. And basically, I won't have anything more unless I come back and say so. I'll probably just take it off the agenda because it is a project that's on hold. So the state is still trying to get them to go forward, but they're going to be, Hometown is fighting that. Some of them are not anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
So Rademacher, Sanchez, is that the one that we provided the water tank to, so I can pick that up now?
Yes,
And
they have service from us now,
Okay,
as of
perfect.
about over a week, about 10 days ago, yeah.
Took them a while to get that service put in.
Okay, and then secondly, I know I didn't have anything to say on the CSD, but you're talking about these consolidations, and I don't want to get the wrong image sent out. With Dune Hometown, the comment was made that
you know, these people aren't gonna have water if they don't come in. So I want to clarify that that was a voluntary consolidation.
Yes,
The,
the owner of Dune 3
yes.
has agreed to consolidate and is, yeah.
So it is not the intent of the water district or the board to take over the Inyo Kern Community Service District. I want to make sure we get that out there. That is something that's being ordered by the state to do a consolidation. We don't know what consolidation actually means in whole yet, so we are working with them. We want to help however we can, but the last thing we want to do is come in and say we're taking over their water system. So just wanted to clarify.
No problem. That's all I have for any possible consolidations.
Okay. No, well, we have two questions. All right, go ahead, Mr. Neal, and then we'll have the caller after that.
So the statement just made about the CSD, so the district has been directed to take over administration of the Indian Kern CSD?
not
or
yet.
no? Not yet, but looks likely.
So there's a voluntary consolidation where we're supposed to, the two parties are supposed to negotiate. And if that doesn't go anywhere, then the state says, thou shalt consolidate. And we, as Vice President Griffin said, we are not pushing to consolidate with the Inyo Kern Community Services District. Inyo Kern is its own community, and they're very proud, but the state has decided that they are not capable or do not have the financial wherewithal to address the issues that the state has identified. So they're kind of forcing the issue.
We better get some good incentive for the state, because you're gonna be the bad guys when that starts
Yeah.
happening. Everybody who doesn't like it's gonna be attacking
Pitchforks
you.
and torches. We expect people to be very unhappy.
Yep,
We absolutely do, and we understand why.
yeah, well, I guess,
Ultimately, there's nothing we can do about it.
yeah, you may be forced into it.
Yeah, well, that is ultimately, yes, we would be forced into consolidation. Looking over, making sure I'm not making the lawyer nervous. All right, we could take the caller now.
Yes, this is Renee Westerlusk. Going back to Mr. Kroll's report, like under update on leaks on rental and leased properties. I think a couple meetings ago, back either June or July, it was talked about having an ordinance drafted that would deal with delinquent landlords or homeowners who did not fix water leaks on their property. Is that still being considered at all?
It certainly is. We can only speculate as to why one of the larger landlords out there just approached the water district asking for a solution. I might not be too surprised if our discussion, which did make the newspaper about the water district potentially creating new ordinances, might have inspired them to come talk and work with us, but who knows? We certainly always want to take the voluntary work together and be collaborative with our community approach and never be the guys that come down, and say, well, we're going to have to draft an ordinance. And so we're really happy with the fact that they're voluntarily working with us and not pushing us down the path where we feel like we have to take some sort of action.
So is the ordinance thing just going to be put on the back burner?
To be determined in the future. Depends on, there may be other landlords out there that are not so cooperative, but we're going to start with the progress we can make right now with the resources that we have. And then we will determine in the future whether we need to move forward with some ordinance if we get other landlords that are not as cooperative.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other comments or questions so far? All right, then let's carry on.
All right, Brady Street. I apologize. The slide was not updated from last month. I forgot to do that, so I apologize for that. So I will give you a verbal update on that. This is basically the same thing that we gave at P&E. So parts are being scheduled, surveying is being scheduled to update the base mapping. We did receive a traffic control plan. Originally, we we asked for a one-lane closure plan, but now we're going to see if the county will allow us to do a full road closure out there to be safe. So we're going to submit that to the county, not to get an encroachment permit for that. And construction is tentatively beginning, most likely December is what we're looking for. And it'd be about 4 months. And that is to do from Inyakern Road to Ward, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, if my brain doesn't fail me. So that's the update for that, unless you have any questions.
Okay, seeing none, please continue.
I just give this opportunity, if the board has any comments on recycled water, we sort of know where it sits. The GA is, still has an agreement with the city. We have not seen no change in that, and that is sort of the next domino that we would like to see fall and hopefully change. And the city will renegotiate that, hopefully with someone more appropriate than the GA who has decided not to use that recycled water.
When does the option that the GA purchased run out?
November.
I think it's November.
November.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It seems to me that before Jason left, he had been looking at some options, and people who are already doing recycled water, looking at the financial impacts. Have we been continuing that work since Jason left?
We have. John, why don't you give a quick update? John's stepping into that role, and let him know what you've been doing, John.
So Stan, I reached back out to the same individuals that Jason was in talks with. One was at Padre Dam. I sent a message, an email on the 13th of September. I have not heard back. Jason wasn't hearing back as well. Also, I'm sorry, 13th of August, I'm sorry. Time to go home. Also, El Paso, Texas was another one. Same thing, same date, so I don't get that confused. Haven't heard back from either. Just to brief you on that.
So we're working on it. We need people to talk with us.
Well, I think there's going to be more and more people doing this kind of thing, and we do need to know what is going on, because we don't want to recreate anything that's working.
Definitely.
All right. We have a question from the public.
So Stan, just real quick, there's one more I've reached out to, was Cave Creek, Arizona. They're doing a large project as well. Haven't heard back, just to give you an update.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Just a point here, knowing the city manager's reluctance to terminate the non-functional contract with the GA over the recycled water, for some reason seemed to be wanting to put a roadblock in the process. Last week's city council meeting, they discussed part of the process of getting their new wastewater treatment plant online, and it would behoove anyone who wants to and is in favor of getting this recycled water at some point in the future. When they design the plant, obviously they can design it in order to accommodate plugging into a recycled water plant or not, and make it more difficult to do that. So I urge people in the city and the council more particularly, hold the city manager accountable and make sure that the plans for that treatment plant accommodated as easily as possible, accommodated connecting to a recycled water treatment, so that when that time comes, they would do that. And of course, in November, sign some agreement with the water district and get some promise of that water coming your way, so that you can proceed on your end in planning towards that.
Okay, thank you. For the record, that was Mr. Mike Neal. 1 second. George, you had a comment.
I did. I've talked to the city manager, Ron Strand. He has assured me that when the plant is built, there will be land set aside adjacent for the construction of a recycled water project, should that occur.
Director Rotora.
Yeah, I haven't actually been following the program for the last probably 5 or 6 years, but it seems to me when I stopped actually monitoring what was going on, they had already been told that they would not be, that as a city was told, they would not be allowed to put up a new sewer wastewater treatment plant without having specific plans for recycling. And I haven't heard anything different since then, and it seems to me the EPA was the one that was pushing that. So if the EPA hasn't changed their minds, although that may have happened just recently because of the new administration, they've still got some work to do to figure out how they're going to get a new plant without recycling, because they're not going to be allowed to just do the recycling plant. They've got to be able to have a beneficial use for that water, or at least that was what it was. And hopefully the EPA hasn't changed their minds.
Okay. And just a clarification, the water district has no interest in toilet to tap water recycling. So that is not on the table. All right. Next, please. Financial status.
All right, 2 months into the fiscal year for August 2025, we have revenues of 2.798 million, which is 106,000 better than budget. Our expenditures are at 2.16 million, which is below budget by almost $1 million at this point. So our net is 636,000, which is 1.1 million better than budget. We do have capital expenditures of 133,000, debt service principal of 187,000. And to date, we have paid the GA $18,140,216. It's close. Part of that's
Yeah, part of that is the pumping fee.
Right.
$135 acre foot
3.4
pumping fee,
million of
right?
that.
But like 15 million of it is replenishment fee. And there's more water in this bottle than there is brought into town.
Okay, any questions? All right, let's move on to arsenic treatment facilities.
So, yeah, arsenic plant 1 produced just a little over 10 million gallons. Arsenic plant 2 produced over 33.5 million gallons. General maintenance as normal through arsenic plants this past month. So the cost of treating water has gone down now that well 11 is not going through ARP1, and you will see that we won't be pumping as much through arsenic removal plant 1 now.
So, but one of the plants needs to remain online for
Both of them
till
will.
December.
Yes, both of them will. We do have to do some testing for that.
That's state required testing to see if that well as arsenic level stays underneath the legal limit.
Well, it's actually federal
Federal.
required testing
Okay.
that comes around every 5 years. It's unregulated contaminant monitoring rule. We're
Ah.
around 5.
Friends at the EPA are
Yeah.
still there, Stan.
They are still there.
Okay.
Next slide is just kind of a review of what went on last month. So we had 26 after-hour calls on the operations side, 27 repairs, 15 service lateral replacements. We had 2 hydrant repairs. We had a mainline repair on Downs and Drummond Avenue. We had a repair coupling leak, so we had to shut down part of the intersection there and do a major 12-inch repair. Construction has also completed 20. This should be updated. I'm sorry, I got an update late this afternoon. So it'll be 22 service laterals on Mahan Street right now before the city goes in and repaves Mahan. So that will be phase 1 of our project. We should end hopefully next week on phase 1.
Okay.
So that'll get us from Bowman to Dolphin.
Okay.
Next.
Questions? All right. Then let's go ahead and move on to item 9, operations.
Yep. So last slide for me will be, we had 26 valves exercised, so 331 year to date. We did 8 no-des runs, so that was a little over 45,000 gallons. So the total is just over 9.5 million year to date. Also, you'll see USA locates on there. This is something that I'll be adding from now on. We had 157 USA North tickets to locate this past month. if you guys aren't aware of what this is when other utility companies call in for locates to see where service, or I'm sorry, where other utilities may be, such as gas, Edison, water, sewer. So we've been taking this on for the past several years. So this past month, we had 157 locates for the USA North, just over 1,000 for the year. And 3 USA South tickets, so that'd be San Bernardino County area, will be USA South. So year-to-date out there will be 35 marked tickets as well.
Okay. All right, questions? Then we'll go ahead and move to item 11, board comments, future agenda items. Director Boyd.
Once again, thanks for all the excellent staff work and updates. You make us look great.
All right, Director Rotora.
And we appreciate that very much.
Thank you. Director Kaczynski.
Mel, you're right. They work really hard. They make everyone look good. I'm very proud of them all. Also, a shout out to all the people involved with 1466. There are a number of coalition people, our legal staff, everybody that worked to get that bill in such a way so we can protect those small pumpers. I want to thank everybody.
Thank you. Vice President Griffin.
I just want to also thank the staff. You guys do a great job. And I want to echo Ron's statement to Representative Hart. It's just nice to see somebody listen, change a bill, because it's been my concern, the small pumpers being protected. And I'm glad that he made that amendment, so.
All right. So a few comments. Renee has handed us out a chart on water usage for the month of August. It shows water usage over the last, 10 years or so. And the trend is very encouraging. The water use for the month of August is steadily going down over those 10 years. There's some peaks once in a while, but overall it's dropping, which suggests an excellent conservation effort on the part of our customers. The staff has been very proactive in looking for problems and finding solutions that are beneficial to our ratepayers. There are so many governmental organizations that wouldn't do that. They just would assume it's your problem and you're going to pay for it. Too bad, so sad. And I think you're doing a marvelous job. Thank you for being what a public service organization should really be, focused on serving the public. I want to thank Assemblyman Hart again for helping us and accepting amendments to make that bill something which was concerning to something which we think is going to help with the Sigma effort. And I wanted to just finally wrap up by saying that the Water District deals with a very specific arena, and that often takes into account unexpected events. Pipes break, customers have unusual arrangements that are dating back to the 1940s that make repairs difficult and that sort of thing. And that this organization and this board are very well suited for addressing these items in a quick fashion. And there are others who think that they can just take over and do this as well as the current staff and the current board, and I would caution them that they are not at all qualified to do that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and state that the next regular board meeting is October 14th. That's the day after the holiday. So don't show up on Monday, we won't be here. And then I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 8:08 p.m. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And thank you for coming.